Have you ever met one of those people who just can't be stopped? It's like they're unstoppable.
Yeah, I have.
Me too.
What's their mystique?
Nothing stops these people.
Don't stop.
Welcome to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. You're about to meet some of the most amazing people.
Stop. Don't stop.
They've accomplished their goals despite insurmountable odds. They beat adversity, physical hardship, and traumatic events, and emerged triumphantly. They're people just like you and me, and they're winners. Are you unstoppable? Here's Frankie to show you how.
Hello there, and welcome to Mission Unstoppable. Wow. You know, we're supposed to be on Facebook Live, and I see you on Facebook Live, my friend, but I do not see myself. I do not know. We've had many challenges, but we are unstoppable women, and we are going to figure this out. I am Frankie Picasso. This is now the Good Media Network. We were formerly the Good Radio Network. This show is Mission Unstoppable Radio, and we are going to, I think we're live there now. So that's awesome. I'm going to just push this one down. So lots of challenges, lots of challenges. But you know what? It's all good. Welcome to 2018. Welcome to 2018. Wow. Lots of changes, as I said. I am also known as the Unstoppable Frankie Picasso. I'm the founder of the Good Radio Network, as I said, formerly the Good Radio Network, now the Good Media Network. It's a little confusing, but it's okay, because we have now gone from radio to media to TV, and actually we're going to be doing both, so that's pretty exciting. It's so wonderful to start off this year with somebody who is unstoppable, like myself. She is also known as the Boldness Coach, and I love that. She is big, she's bad, she's bold, and her name is Vaneese Johnson, and she is a global leadership coach. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a trainer, she is a brand strategist, and she's here with us today. But you know, one thing, Vaneese, that we do on Mission Unstoppable is we talk about where we come from, because we're not, you don't just magically pop into the air and are this wonderful boldness coach that helps millions of people around the world figure out who they are and brand themselves. You were once a little girl who, grew up in the South and had this difficult kind of upbringing, I think. So let's talk about how you became the unstoppable one.
Well, first of all, I just want to say good morning. Happy New Year to you, Frankie. Happy New Year to all of the viewers this morning. How exciting. And we got tested this morning in our unstoppableness with technology, but we proved to prevail above it. So I'm excited to be here this morning. And you know what's really interesting, Frankie? I think that a lot of people are born unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And we have different experiences in life that really help us to step into our unstoppableness. And sometimes those experiences weigh a little heavy, and it takes us longer in life to get to a level of unstoppableness. And mine started early. As you mentioned, mine started growing up for those of you that are on the stateside, I grew up in Louisiana, born and raised in Louisiana, and I grew up to a single mom. In a house with a single parent, and I had a brother. And so things were really scarce, in and out for a long time. And so I got my prompting of unsstoppableness very early in my life. And I'm happy to say that had it not been for that growing experience, I wouldn't have morphed into the bold, big, bad coach.
Wow. Now, I know that you were about 12 years old when your entrepreneurism took over.
Yeah. Yeah, I was 12 years old. It's something interesting about, I think we can all agree to this, when we are in kind of that preteen and that teenage years is when our independence starts to come into play. Mm-hmm. And we want more of what we have, or not more of what we have. We want to kind of create the life we want, because we always feel like, wow, I want more, more, more. And so being 12 years old and growing up in an environment of scarcity, I was like, I want more than this. I want to be able to go to the football games on the weekends, and be able to buy food from the concession stand.
Right.
I want to be able to, for us girls, get hair products, things for your hair, right? Lipstick, lip gloss, and that just wasn't available to me. So what I figured out was, what can I do to make money? And, as a 12-year-old, what can you do to make money legitimately, right?
Right, right. I
So,
like that, legitimately.
yeah, legitimately, right? I'm sure some other people are like, well, I've read some things. But babysitting, it's like, okay, babysitting. I also mowed lawns. And I did whatever I could do to be able to get myself to that space of like, what, here's some money coming in. And that was exciting for me. So at that moment, Frankie, at 12, I realized, wow, I got some control here. I can really affect and change my life and create the life that I want to have. So from 12 years on, it was on.
So I know that I guess you had scarcity in the home. Was it food scarce? Like, was food an issue?
There were times when, we weren't starving. We always had food.
Right.
But I think scarcity is relative, because growing up in the South, we grew a lot of things that we ate. My grandparents had a farm, so there was always food. But, scarcity from a 12-year-old is not having enough pizza.
Right, exactly. Or the right clothes, or the right shoes, or the right,
Yeah, exactly.
to fit in.
Yeah, so I had necessities. I had the basic necessities, but there wasn't anything available for frills.
Right,
So if
yes.
you wanted something extra, like going to a football game or going to hang out with your friends after a football game at the burger joint, that wasn't available.
So how proud was your mom of you?
She was and is very proud of me, because she recognized then, when I was 12, like, Vaneese is not going to let anything hold her down. I think all of my family, kind of learned that about me as I was learning it about myself.
Sure.
That I wasn't going to let anything hold me down. And from that point on, that's really what drove my life. So having what I perceived to be some level of scarcity is what drove me. And then also the fact that I could earn some income, from simple skills, simple.
How much did you make for babysitting back then?
I made $40 a week, Frankie.
Wow, that's
I
pretty
made
awesome.
$40 a week. Well, here's the catch. So I babysat on Saturday nights. And then during the week, I got up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I went to the neighbor's house to babysit her kids, to get them up and get them ready for school, because that neighbor had taken a job at a lumber factory.
Right, yeah.
That produced paper. So I had to get up like 4:30 in the morning, tracking in the cold in the dark, to the neighbor's house, which was kind of like the street, one street over. So that paid me $25, a week to do that. I babysat on the weekend, with other people that found out about it in the church. And then I got really creative. This is where the entrepreneurial juice probably kicked into overdrive. I grew up in a town where the main industry was either a garment plant, they were making blue jeans to send out across the world, or it was the lumber company that was like International Paper, like turning it, paper company, right? Paper mill. So there was a local store in the community, and I went to the store asking for jobs, and it was owned by, a local guy. And he was like, Vaneese, I work here every day, all day. I don't have any money to hire anybody. Yeah. And I looked around the store, and I was like, yeah, but you need the floor swept. You need, the goods dusted off. And he had a laundromat attached to the store. So, and I went in there and I said, the floor is dirty on the laundromat. And people, this is the time when there was only laundry detergent, not like liquid, like powder. And I said, it's all crusted around the washing machines. So I said, there's something I should be able to do for you. I can do. And he says, I tell you what, I'll pay you $5 for each room. Oh. So that was another 10 on top of the 25. And then on the occasion, Saturday night. So I earned really up to 40, sometimes maybe $50.
Let's talk about that just for one moment, because I think it's really important for people to understand a couple of things of what you just said. One, any job is a good job. Yeah. You don't have to be embarrassed about what you do, because really, like, if I remember when I first got married, and my husband had lost his job, and he went out with a bucket and a squeegee, and he knocked on doors of businesses and said, can I wash your windows? And he would come home every day with money. And I thought, you know what, God bless you for doing that, because, we would have been hungry, and I was pregnant. But the point is that any job, my dad always told me, any job is a good job. And I believe that. So good for you not to go, because kids today are like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
They're not going to clean anything or do babysit or do any of the things that we used to do as young people.
Yeah, that stuff is not sexy today.
No.
But what it does the same thing today, Frankie, that it did then. It built
It
character.
does.
It allowed me to have some tenacity,
Yes.
some fortitude, intuitiveness.
And
So it,
confidence. You had to go
and
knock on that
confidence.
door and
I mean,
negotiate yourself. You
I
know?
mean, what are you at 12 years old, right? How do you know, I had no concept of negotiating other
Yeah.
than please, please, please,
Right.
please, please, right? So it built, helped to develop those entrepreneurial traits in me that would later serve me where I am in my life now. So
So
I was
let's
bold
look
at
at
12.
6-year-old Vaneese.
Yeah.
6-year-old Vaneese. Uh, who did she think she was going to be when she grew up?
You know, I don't know who she thought she was, but I was at 5 and 6 years old. I was making clothes for my Barbie. I used to have a Barbie
Me
dreamboat.
too. Yeah, me too.
So, so I was still creative in that space because my mother used to sew. So in the South, we made quilts.
Oh
And
yeah.
so really made for the family, but we had this big old box of material scraps. So I would dig through the box. So that's where we kept all the scraps for the quilts. So I would dig through the box and I would find, different scraps, and I would get me some scissors and cut them out. And then I would get me, the needle and thread, and I would sew clothes for my doll.
Yeah.
So that was the creative Vaneese at that point. And also, Frankie, I learned how to cook, too, early on, because that was one of the cultural kind of rites of passage,
Sure.
for young girls in the South. So, I was making mud pies, mud cakes, and creating clothes for my doll. So that's what the 6-year-old Vaneese was doing.
I got to say a shout out to my sister-in-law, Carolyn Kearney Davis. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to see you too. Thank you. And John Wood. John Wood taught my kids in grade 2. Very
Hey,
nice of you to stick around. They're
hey
30 now,
guys.
but great to see you too. Thanks for stopping in. And Roberta, thanks for clicking like. I appreciate that. I did the same thing. I loved my Barbies. I loved to make clothes. I thought I might be a fashion designer. Who knew, right? But you don't think I'm going to grow up and be a babysitter, or I'm going to grow up and mow lawns necessarily. But there was, so I was wondering, because personal branding strategist, that wasn't even a thing, like who did that? You would never
Yeah.
think to do that as a little kid. So,
Well, but I think though, Frankie, we all have brands in our lives. So branding really is it's a reputation, number one. And number two, it's the experience of a reputation.
yeah,
So we have them whether we like them or not. Either people like to see us coming or they hate to see us coming.
yeah,
Either we bring in some good news or we're always bringing bad news.
right.
So at 12 years old, my brand was one of survival, one of independence, one of creativity. I just didn't know that it would serve me as rich as has served me in my career.
So did you, 12, 13, 14, you finished high school,
Mhm.
you went off, and what did you go off to do, Vaneese?
What's really funny, and again, I just want to high five that 12-year-old Vaneese every time I think about her, because I left when I graduated at 17 from high school. I left home 2 weeks after I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
And I moved to Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles, California.
Wow.
With
From
the state
Louisiana.
from the country where everybody knows everybody to
Yeah.
the city where nobody knows anybody.
Sin City. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sin City, right? You're just a face among millions of people.
Yeah.
And I moved there when I was 17, and I rode the bus, took some coins in my pocket. I said, I got to learn how to ride the bus. I would get up in the morning and go, like people were going to work. I would get up and go ride the bus like it was a job. And I would read the street signs and learn how to navigate the bus system because I didn't grow up with that.
So why Los Angeles?
My uncle lived there.
Okay.
And my uncle, we have family members that go ahead and they say, you got to come here because there's nothing for you down there.
Right. Right.
So that was really a level of boldness that I was stepping into, was to leave the nest, the comfort zone, to go into a metropolitan city that I had no clue about the culture. It was such a culture shock. And by the time I was 19, Frankie, I had my first apartment.
Oh,
By the time I
wow.
was
Good for
19.
you.
Yeah, so I had started living on my own. So I left home when I was 17. 2 weeks later, after graduation, 19, now I have my own apartment, a 1-bedroom bachelor apartment. I didn't know how to pay rent. I didn't know how to pay utility bills. You guys, I thought, having a Hormel can of chili and hot dogs was the bee's knees.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
The ramen noodles. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, ramen noodles was the bomb, Frankie. Oh my, the cup. Oh yeah, flavors, all those flavors. Oh man, listen. You can master the different flavors of ramen noodle. You were going places.
Yeah. 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 And but you knew how to cook, so that was a good skill. You already had that skill.
Yeah. So that, and then that led me to getting my first kind of corporate gig in finance, working in the credit union. Check it, you guys. I didn't know how to balance a checkbook. I had no idea, no clue about budgeting, because coming from my mother's house, I had some home economic skills. They used to
Yeah.
teach that in high school.
Right.
But one thing to learn it in class and to be in your mother's house and to help out versus you're on your own and you have to do it yourself.
Right.
So that was really a shock to me. So working two jobs, putting myself through community college, those were the things that really shaped me and moved me into the next level of my life.
That's incredible. I love that. I love that you had, I mean, and so many kids, myself included, we all had to learn how to budget.
Yeah.
What's a checkbook? How do you write a check? Today, kids don't even know what checks are.
Right, right.
They don't even know what it is.
Remember the old mindset, Frankie, was, well, there must be money in the bank because I still got checks.
I remember my kids go, I don't have any money. They go, well, just go to the bank machine. Right?
Yeah.
The bank machine just spits it out. It's a money tree.
If it only worked that way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So it's crazy how times have, not that much time has passed, but times have changed so very quickly and so very much.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So during that time of scarcity, it seemed like we were stuck probably in life period in a time warp for a very long time. And then the evolution of technology, the evolution of industries,
Yes.
and they just start happening rapidly. And now we're in the space of technology. We're in a phase of the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
Where literally your phone will control everything that you do. I'm working with a client now that's doing intelligent transportation systems, so intelligent lanes.
Yes.
So ultimately, cars will get to the point, Frankie, they're already doing them now, where the cars are talking to each other to avoid accidents.
Right.
So
Yeah.
instead of us having to watch for that, our cars that we'll be in will be watching out for and keeping us safe because of just the age we're in. So just imagine being 12 now.
Incredible. Yeah.
I could be a YouTube star.
Yes. Yeah. And they are YouTube. Look at what happened to Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah.
He became a star because of YouTube.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And you're in a world now, being a brand strategist and a leader, you're having to relearn and learn things very, very quickly to teach other people what to do,
Yes.
how to shine in this arena.
Yes.
Because people my age, we're like, huh? I don't know how to do this. And I'm trying to learn it. And it's good for the synapses. It's good to keep you, always to learn something new every day, they say, because it keeps your brain firing. But, it's not as easy. But then I look at my dad, who's 90 something, and I sent him a Google Home for Christmas. He goes, I'm in command now. He goes, I got it.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I
he's embraced technology like nobody's business.
I think it's the will. You have to have the willingness,
Yeah.
to want to stay fresh.
Yeah.
And you have to find your level of fresh. So what I tell my clients is find your level of bold. And I'll tell you, just kind of sidebar, how boldness came about, how
Yes.
helping clients, and how the Boldness Coach was birthed. Initially, before the birth of the Boldness client, I used to do career transition coaching. So for people that were impacted by business model changes in their organization. So you either got offered another position in the company that you probably had no idea if you wanted to keep your job, or the company laid you off because your role was no longer needed, right? For whatever reason. What I started to find is that a lot of the clients were very seasoned, Frankie, but they were like, well, how do I go over here? Because I've been doing this all my life.
Right.
Like, and how is that going to work with this over here? Because this is what I know, that's what I don't know. And who am I supposed to be in this? And how do I get to that? So what ultimately started coming up was that people wanted permission to go after the dreams that they had been holding on to.
Yeah.
They had been doing work every day because they needed to survive. So people were stuck in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, depending on who you're in survival mode with, your mindsets are the same. We go to
Right.
work, we make money, we pay bills, we put the kids through school. Now we got grandkids, we buy them stuff. Oh, we have home projects. Yeah, we take a vacation on occasion. But nobody is saying this is the time for you to live your life. Like this is your opportunity to do whatever you want to do or what
And
you've
they're
been.
waiting until they're 65. They're waiting
Yeah,
until they
to
die,
retire. Yeah,
practically.
because the next level is after your kids get out of college, you're like, I've been at this job for so long.
Right.
I'm looking at my 401k, my pension. Now I'm planning my retirement. But
Right.
nobody was planning in between that space of their life to step into their dreams. No one was planning to step into their authenticity.
Right.
So what happened to me was I went through a life event change. I went through a divorce,
Yeah.
and I was sitting across the table from a good colleague of mine, and we were having lunch, and I'm like, is this it? You have a successful career, then you get married, your kids are grown, and then you divorce your spouse, and then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it. So I was like, I don't want this to be it. I want more. There's got to be more. And I started to think about the clients that I had served before, Frankie, and how they were just kind of stuck in this conundrum of like a zombie state in their life. And I was like, no, there's got to be more. And she says, well, what do you want? What do you want people to get from it? And which is such a broad question, right?
Yes.
Then we ended up narrowing it down is, what do you bring to the party? Vaneese, if you were going to a party, what would you bring to the party that you would want guests to be like, wow, that was an awesome dish. Like, I want more of that. We got to invite her back. And I said, I want people to be, big, and I want them to be like a badass. But
Right.
at the time, badass is so overused in my mind. And I said, I want people to be bold. And so then I was like, yeah, but bad and bold and big. I was like, that's all kind of like, that's typical
That's
common
like
speak.
triple B.
Yeah, triple
clothing.
B, like, you know what I mean? So let's invert it. And I said, I want people to be bold, big, and bad.
Yeah.
I want them to be bold. And then I had to say, Frankie, okay, that's real catchy, lady. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
So then after kind of pondering it, and it set on my heart because it was like, wow, that kind of feels like a nice shirt. Like, bold, big, bad. Now, what does it mean?
Right.
So then I went to looking it up. What does the word bold mean? And what does big mean? And what does bad mean? And I looked at the common definition, Frankie, but I was like, no, I need to know what it means in life. Like,
Yeah.
how do you apply this in life? So bold stands for branding out loud daily, which has to do with living in your authenticity every day throughout the day.
Right.
The permission to just be who you are. So guess what, Frankie? If you are chatterbox, then chat all day long. You just
Right.
need to find the platform that supports that and that allows you to really be in the authenticity of that. Big stands for building in your gifts. So what that means is we are all born with a certain level of talent, Frankie. Some
Mhm.
of us have more than others, but make no mistake, the talent that we have can create opportunities for us in our lives.
Right.
So whether that's the next level of your career, whether that's a new career altogether, or whether that's creating a gig that's going to give more income to you, or being in service of others.
Yeah.
So build in your gifts, find what that gift is, and just keep exploiting it. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And I guarantee you, it's going to open up to so much more, Frankie. And bad is branded and distinctive. That has to do with your reputation should precede you. You
Mhm.
should be living in your authenticity, building in your gifts, and showing them in the world to the point to where people think of you when they're looking for somebody that's related to the kind of talents that you have.
So you're the gold standard of boldness coaching.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
interviewing or whatever the case might be. So
Yeah.
you must meet a lot of people though, and they say to you, Vaneese, I don't know who I am. I don't know. What gifts? I didn't get any gifts. I can't find any gifts. Right?
Yeah. How do I narrow that down? Like, lucky for you,
It's almost
lady.
the same question as I don't know what my purpose is.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same. And you know what, Frankie? This is where the 12-year-old girl comes back into play. Because we can all go back to parts of our childhood where we were shining in our authenticity without permission.
Yeah.
because we had not been taught that we needed to be something else or somebody else.
Hmm.
We really just did, it's for all intents and purposes, we were just naive. Like, this is me, this is it. So, okay, good for you. And going and we would just do what we do. And when I went back to that 12-year-old girl, I looked at how she served me throughout my life. Because I started my first company, Frankie, when I was 25. So I had a $1 million temporary staffing agency in downtown San Francisco. I had no prior experience with becoming an entrepreneur. I did not go to school to be an entrepreneur. I went to school and got a 2-year liberal arts study degree because I didn't know what I wanted to study.
Right.
But what I did know was that I had a tenacity to just dive in. I also knew that I would be creative. And I worked in the staffing industry, but I felt like a lot of would-be burgeoning entrepreneurs, oh, I could do this better.
Yeah. It's interesting. Let's talk about the 2 points that you made. One is go back to your childhood and look at it. Because
Yeah.
I was 9 years old when I sent away for the National Institute of Broadcasting Records. I always
Oh,
wanted to be on the
wow.
radio. I didn't
Oh,
get on the radio until my mid-50s, or whatever.
uh,
So, it's always there. It's always back there somewhere in your childhood, the gift
yeah,
or the talent or the desire to be,
yeah, yeah,
the world socializes us and makes us become things sometimes that we don't want to be.
right.
Doctors who want to be artists and artists who want to be, doctors or whatever. But
Yeah,
families can push you and teachers like Mr. Wood can push you and all kinds of people can push you
yeah.
into doing what you don't necessarily want to do, but they go, it's good for you. You'll make money at it. But your heart
Mhm.
doesn't sing there. Right?
Yeah, right.
And the other point that you made, you're having your first business and being in the staffing. So many people that I have found from being a coach when I first started cannot figure out their transferable skills. Like housewives would
Mhm.
come and say, I don't have any skill. And you go, but you've got time management from looking after your kids and you've got,
Yes.
serving
Budgeting.
experience because
Yeah,
you serve
finance.
dinner every night and you've got all these skills
Yes.
that you can create and send them out on their way to say, yeah, you've got lots.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a good point, Frankie, when you say the socialization. So we're socialized when we get into our teens, the mid to late teens. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
And then and we're like, I don't know. And then people start planting ideas in your head. And then you go off to, finish school, then you get the pressure of your friends going off to college to be certain things. Then your parents are projecting onto you that they want you to have a different life than they had. And they didn't pursue their dreams. Therefore, now their dreams have become your responsibility
Right.
to fulfill. So there's a lot of socialization, going on that takes us away from our authenticity. And that's one of the things that keeps us from getting sooner than later in becoming and living in our authentic voice. So for me, I think what really helped me, and it definitely may not work for everybody else, but I left my nest, so that I kind of got out into the world and had to see what was going on in the world beyond my four walls. And I'll tell you, my son's 25, he'll be 25 next month. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So my son will be 25 next month. My son still has not picked a career yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I say yet, because here's the socialization, and I have to remember, I started my first company when I was 28.
Yeah.
And I had a hustle when I was like 25 making gift baskets. So I have to remind myself that, what, he may have not found, his talent may hasn't risen, or the confidence, may have not risen to the top yet. The confidence hasn't piqued the curiosity yet in his mind that, maybe I could, and so I'm hands off because I want him to find his way, because I know when he finds his way, he will be amazing. And if I, as a parent, can help him to find his way sooner than later by being hands off with the socialization of what you should be, then I feel like I really have probably done the best job as his mother that I could be for him in this moment of his life.
I agree with that. And you know what? I didn't know I still don't know who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
So I think
growing up.
I've done so many things and I just say, you know what? It goes in that toolbox and it becomes this, right?
Yeah.
Some people know exactly who they want to be. I've got a brother who's a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, right? They know who they are. I tried everything and that's okay too. I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's so you have to try different things. The funny thing, as you were saying that, we were talking about, your talents and gifts. I used to get in trouble for talking in class.
Yeah.
I used to get in trouble for like listening to what the grown people were talking about when I was a little girl. I just had this natural curiosity to want to know more, you know, and also I recognized that I have a voice, and I was like, but if I say something, it needs to be something that's contributory. It can't be something just blabbing just to be hear myself talk. So I recognized very early, I just didn't know how or where that would play into my career. So I ultimately ended up getting positions in retail where I was talking to people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I fast forward to where I am now, that's what I do in my career is I talk to people. So I'm a trainer, I'm a leadership coach, and I'm a speaker.
Right.
And so I get to use my voice, but it goes back to that 12-year-old girl, saying, wow, that's what I used to do and get in trouble with and be reprimanded for. This is my authentic space.
I want to say something about your authenticity and your boldness, because you recently, you're an author, and I read something that you wrote.
Thank you.
That I love myself, I love my body, and I don't think I know any woman that says that.
Yeah.
And I shout out to my daughter Olivia. Thanks, Liv.
Hey, Leah. Hey, girl. Hey.
But that's a big statement. It's a bold statement.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement, my
Yes.
friend, because honestly, women, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this, I hate like everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's interesting about saying that, and yes, I am a published global author now, and in kind part thanks to you, Frankie, but a big part thanks to you because of the invitation to participate in the anthology, right? I bared my chest. So when I started to write the story, it really became cathartic, in a sense where, wow, I own my boldness, beyond the persona of what people see out there. Like, this is me behind the closed doors, like all of me. And owning my body, for my imperfections are what makes me bold. My imperfections from others' eyes, is what really makes me unique.
Right.
It separates me from everybody else. And that also helps me to own my authenticity, because I'm so busy loving who I am, I don't have time to try to be anybody else. Because I tried like everybody else. I tried to have somebody else's swag. I tried to have somebody else's hairstyle or hair color. I tried to have somebody else's appearance. I tried to have somebody else's coaching programs or coaching styles.
Right.
I
Right.
tried all of those things. And guess what? They are freaking exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I came to a point to where I'm like, one day I walked past the mirror and I was like, hey, wait a minute. You know what? You don't have a flat stomach, and you never had a flat stomach. So, okay, girl, we can spend our rest of our time worrying about not having a flat stomach, or we can learn how to dress the stomach we have.
Yeah, I like that one.
So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's try and see how it works to dress the stomach we have, on the body that we have, and let's see what we like about that. And then as I dressed one part, it was like, oh, wait a minute, look at those legs. Okay, yes, I go to the gym. If you're a friend with me on Facebook, you're gonna see my sweaty workout pictures. But I don't go to the gym because I'm trying to change my body type. I go to the gym to enhance the body I have.
There you go.
So,
I like that.
so I just started to own and feel that. And that's my boldness too, because when I show up to a party, people are looking at me because of my authenticity.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm
And it's
like,
very attractive to men.
yes, yeah. And that's we have to do another show on that one, because I'm recently starting dating someone. And I think that was it. It was like that authenticity of who I am, because I had tried all of those other things before.
Yeah.
And they never worked. And then also, I think the biggest thing, Frankie, was I don't want to be, based on some of the other clients I had worked with in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wait until I'm getting 60 to try to find my boldness and try to find my authenticity or try to find my permission. I'm gonna get my permission right now, because I'm probably gonna have other things to worry about on the other end. So right now is where I want to have that. And so that's what I bring to the party. And from a coaching perspective, and Frankie, as a coach, is an amazing coach yourself, coaching is not something that you can, it's not one size fit all.
Right.
And so it's really about the uniqueness of and the personality and the chemistry that a coach brings to a relationship that you connect with.
Yeah.
One of my brand personas is that I'm a truth teller. So I don't want to work with anybody, Frankie, who does not want to be told the truth.
Right.
If you want somebody to go along with your program and somebody to be, gentle and kind to you, I'm not mean or nasty. I'm not a Jillian
Right.
Michaels,
Right.
but I'm going to tell you the truth about what I see.
Yeah.
So I tell all my clients up front, if you don't want the truth, I am not the coach for you, because I'm going to call you out on your stuff and I'm going to
Right.
tell you what I see.
Yeah. I love that. I love that about, yeah. I mean, that's the way to go. You have to be that way. And, I had a client write a testimonial that said, like, don't hire her if you don't want to get and be unstoppable and get to the end and
Yeah,
get your
right,
goal.
right. If
Like,
they want safety, Frankie, and they only want to go so far, they should not call you, because you
yes.
are going to take them to the edge and say, okay, here's the edge. So we're going to get to the other side. So which gear are you grabbing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's you as the coach, Frankie. You're not like, okay, we're at the edge. Let's sit and think about it, and then we'll come back to it. You're like, no, we're at the edge. You knew we were coming to the edge. You knew we were
Yeah.
getting to the other side.
You're right.
And the edge was one of the pathways that we were going to have to go through to get to the other side. So which gear you grabbing? Because we got to go, girl. Let's go.
That's it. Exactly. And you know what? That's why people hire coaches, because we are champions for them. And if you really want, and if you're stuck someplace, you got to call. You got to call Vaneese. You got to call somebody who is going to take you there. And you've got, this amazing business. You are a boldness coach. And how awesome a gift is it to show people where their boldness lays inside them and to bring that out for them, because that confidence, you don't need anything else but really confidence when you walk in a room, because people are so attracted to that. So
They are. It's so funny. Everywhere I go, I color my hair red. And I remember at a point in my life, you wouldn't have caught me dead with red hair. You just wouldn't have. I was just like, oh my God, that's so brash. But this has become my signature, is my red hair. And everywhere I go, I was in church on Sunday, and when I stood up, when they said for the new visitors, to just acknowledge the visitors, somebody said, I saw your hair. I saw that hair, and I was like, that's Vaneese. And so, and it could be whatever your style or whatever your energy is that people see, but at the end of the day is really, it's easier to be who you are than it is to be somebody else, because the work it requires to be you is way less than it would be, being somebody else.
Well, I remember you writing about how your hair was the bane of your existence. You had so much hair, and straighten it or do it or whatever, like it was driving you crazy.
Just like every woman, every young teenager, I had, like, my hair used to be long on my shoulders, and, trying to get somebody to do your hair,
Yeah.
and in the African American community, you got like a checklist. Oh, that's too thick. Oh, that's going to take too long. Oh, that can only be done on this day, and so you're just so defeated. You feel so defeated sometimes, by your hair. And now I'm at a point where I'm just like, no, it's naturally curly. I wear it there. It doesn't have any chemicals in my hair. The only thing I put on is color. So getting to a place again of acceptance,
Yeah.
About who you are. So accepting this, that my hair is the way that it is. I spend less money at the hair salon.
That's good.
I spend less time worrying about styling my hair, because it's going to come out curly, and that is the style.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it freed me up, to be able to put energy towards other areas of my life. When I go to the gym, I don't worry about my hair when I go to the gym, because guess what? When I sweat, it's going to get curly. So I don't have to worry about that, which frees me up to have time to go to the gym, and then come home and switch clothes and wet my hair and go someplace else. So that's owning who you are, and all of those, I call, again, what other people see as imperfections, own them as your own perfection areas, because they work for you.
I can't even imagine having a better guest to start 2018 off than you. I really can't, because, who doesn't want to walk into this year owning themselves, owning, who they are. And, for me to do this TV, it took a couple months. It took 4, 5, 6 months to get up the nerve to do it, because I didn't want people looking at me. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, you know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's okay, because I just want to have a good time, and I want people to have a good time. And you know what? It's fun to talk to people, but it's more fun to talk to people face to face. And I think people like the visual aspect. They like to see who Vaneese is and her red hair. You know, we're talking about red hair, but you know, where is that? Where's that red hair? I want to see it, you know?
Right, right. What shade of red? And then also people see your energy, Frankie, and they see your calmness. You do have this calm energy about you, but there's an undercurrent going on. And people get to see that. It's one thing to hear a voice, but when you put a face with a voice, and I really applaud you. And this is your first launch of your show in 2018.
Yes.
And we had a little technical difficulties, but we worked those out and we continued on. So you are in your boldness. And here we are, the 9th day of the year. So you're right. What a fantastic way to start your year is to step into your boldness and don't give a damn.
Yeah. So I want everybody who's watching this or listening to this, give a shout out to your website. I think it's VaneeseJohnson.com. And write to Vaneese and write to me or write around the videos or something, what you want to be bold about and what you have been bold about.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's see how bold we can all be.
Yes, send us some boldness. So, Frankie, I know that I'm on your page for your radio show. So you can tag me, even if you're writing Frankie, you can tag me. You can find my business page. It is The Boldness Coach. So that is The Boldness Coach. You can find me on Facebook. So please like my page. You can leave a comment there. Also, you can leave your declaration about what you're looking to be bold in this year. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you tell me that you're going to be bold in something, you better believe that I will be checking out to see if you are bold. And if you are not, I am going to be calling you out to say, are you really at the level of boldness? Are you stretching, or are you being comfortable?
Yeah.
And one thing I want to encourage people to do, Frankie, the one word I want to have people to remove from their vocabulary this year is the word but.
Yes.
I would be bold, but.
Right. Right.
But I'm worried about what other people would think. But what if it doesn't look right? But.
Anything after a but negates anything that comes before it. So
thank you so much, right? So you want to replace that with the word and. I am going to be bold, and people are going to need to get used to it. I am going to be bold and. Mm-hmm.
In coaching, not just your coaching, but in coaching, you know, when I taught coaching in general, we had this thing that we call a bold request. And you could ask your client to do a bold request. And, you know, they could say yes or no, but if they said yes, they had to follow through, like you just said. And so a bold request goes beyond even, you know, just a regular homework. It's like, I really want you to stretch and do this thing. And so our bold request is, tell us what you can be bold about, and then do it. Be unstoppable in your boldness this year.
Be unstoppable. And you know, it's so funny because people might be thinking, well, what does the boldness coach do to be unstoppable? You know, or how does the boldness coach continue to be bold? So in 2018, I am taking my business global.
All right.
So 2017, I had my first global speaking opportunity in New Delhi, India.
That's right.
And this year I am going back to India, but I'm also going to Sri Lanka. I formed a partnership with an organization called WeEmpowered.global, which is womenempowered.global.
Awesome.
And so I'm going to be reaching audiences in Sri Lanka, you know, helping women with leadership and stepping into their boldness in their lives and careers. I'm going to be doing a conference in Nigeria this year. And I'm going to be going back to India again, to Dubai, going to Dubai this year, speaking at a conference as well. So the universe is huge. It's a demand for boldness. It's a demand for people to stand in their boldness, to be able to create the change and the life that we know we are also deserving of. So join me, you know, in 2018 and stepping into your next level of bold.
Awesome. I love that you're going out there and doing that to the world. How exciting is that? Congratulations on that. And congratulations to all of you who tuned in today. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you for helping to make the YouTube site, because I still need about 40 more people to sign up and subscribe to the Good Media so that we can have our URL, the Good Media on YouTube. That's all it is. I'm not trying to, you know, sign you up to anything. I just want to get my domain name on there. So if you haven't done it, please, please, please sign up. Go to YouTube, look up the Good Media Network, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I thank you so much for that. I will be back here on Thursday with Frankie Sense and more. So thank you, Vaneese, for being my guest. Thanks to all of you for tuning in today. And I really, really appreciate your support. And I hope you enjoyed our show. Take care, everybody. Have a happy 2018.